Hey, everybody out there in No More Mondays community. We are here with another spring short to give you the good old rundown of inspiring words that our guests give us from Mondays. And this is one of my favorite conversations with Jane as we wrap our seasons, and also one of our top episodes that we put out there. So we're giving a little bit more of the things that you all love. So Jane's going to kick us off. What's our first word for Monday from this season?
Hi again, everybody. So the first word is crisp from Acacia Fonte.
And for any of you that listened to that episode or are so lucky to know Acacia, the word crisp is just like the perfect word from her, because she is just by nature, I think, very like crisp and clean in her communication and just her intention. And so I love that idea of starting. It's almost like, to me, like starting fresh. I don't know why crisp gives me this vision of like your freshly laundered and starched piece of like cloth that you could be like, like I'm making this motion, like I'm snapping it. And then you get the smell piece of it too. But it's that idea of like starting the week fresh and tailored to exactly what you want to do. So perfect word from her.
It is. It really is. That was a great first word. Hopeful is the next one from Amber Jackson.
Well, and let me take a step back for a second. Jane and I realized as we were going through this list, we got completely new words across the board. No overlaps either within this set of guests or from things that we had before. So y'all out there getting even more creative. And what I love about, Amber Jackson and I have known each other for 20 plus years. And so having that conversation with her just made me just nostalgic and hopeful at the same time, because she and I got to come together and reminisce about just our time at Carnegie Mellon together and just so many good memories that we had. And also at the same time, getting to see how she approaches her career, and without even knowing it, in having her as a guest, seeing just how aligned in our perspectives we are, gave me kind of that hopefulness. And she's just done amazing things in her career. And so she's definitely somebody to watch and kind of be inspired by as you're trying to find hope in your career trajectory as well.
Love that. And one of the other things I remember from that conversation too, and it certainly came out with Acacia, is that connected to both of their words was their approach to servant leadership. And that was really interesting to hear them talk about that from their different industries.
And teaser, servant leadership kind of rolls into this idea of mentorship, which is going to be another short coming soon. So there you go. There's your hook, line, and sinker to stay in tune with No More Mondays. But I completely agree. And I think when you approach leadership in that way, it does give you the hopefulness, because you're not just driving your own success, but supporting somebody else's as well.
Once you've started out crisp and hopeful, then the next word is progress.
You can make progress, Jeff Shannon. And I love Jeff Shannon because he's got such cool energy. And I feel like the word progress, again, is just so aligned with him as a person and the things that he likes to do, on the side outside of his work, but also just in that idea of being thoughtful and having meaning around the progress. And it doesn't have to be some like tunnel visioned goal, but giving yourself those rewards and wins so that you can feel like you're inching yourself forward. And he's kind of, he's got a little of that optimizer mentality. So I feel like that's a fitting recommendation coming from him.
So you're making progress, you're hopeful, and you're crisp. And now you really have to be excited.
And I feel like, Chris Finucci was part one of the Bite Well story. And when you are a founder in that initial startup phase, you better be excited, because there is so much energy going into that. And if you're not enthusiastic about what you're starting up, I don't know who is going to be. And he just has that very infectious kind of like excitable personality and super fun to talk to. So I'm really glad he's excited. I would hope so, as he and Samantha, who was part two of that story, build Bite Well. But definitely gives you that kind of like idea of how you should look and feel. Like you get a little visual with that going into Monday morning.
Next guest, Jules Porter. She had two words and they totally fit her: unstoppable and fearless.
They do totally stop her. She's amazing. She is unstoppable and fearless. Like, there we go. We just ended there. But she is just so incredible and doesn't take no for an answer and has taken every opportunity that's come her way. I mean, she's got like 12 degrees. And it's not like small ones, like she's got a theology degree, an MBA, and a law degree. So if you're not unstoppable, I don't know how you're achieving those goals. And she just aspires to such big things, not only for herself, but also how she's going to impact others. And I love that fearlessness about her because she's on a mission and she's going to achieve it.
Totally agree. Can't wait to see what she does next. Given all these other great adjectives, the next one, I can't believe we've never heard this one before, but this is so great. Ready.
I feel that I agree with you because it seems like such a logical response, and coming from Sam Citro Alexander, it makes sense because, I look at she and Chris Finucci, the co-founders of Bitewell, as very much like having those complementing skill sets. And so I can just envision Chris being like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then Sam's the one who's like, okay, we got to get ready. And that's how she treats Mondays too.
Yeah. The yin and the yang, you got to have that together.
You got to have it.
Our wonderful guest from Italy, Monye, exclamation point.
And it's just not the same without the exclamation point. And this word would not be the same if it had not come from Angela Santi. She was such a fun guest. She gave us the ability to take No More Mondays global. She was our first international guest, which was just so much fun. And from my country of heritage in Italy also made it just that much more special. But she's like just totally fabulous, which maybe is my word for Mondays for her. And she has this like movie star aspect to her, but yet a quirkiness that completely fits this idea of like, I'm going to make up a word for Monday and it's Monye.
What we should do is translate that into Italian and then put that on merch. So you have the English version on the front of the t-shirt and the Italian version on the back. So you're coming and going Monye both ways.
I love it. We better go copyright that before
exactly. Nobody else steal that idea.
Good
okay,
idea,
so the last word from our last guest of the season is buoyant.
Which, Helen, I feel like that's, again, there's like a theme here. It's not so much how they, like these guests approach Mondays, but it's almost more just the ingrained personality they bring to them. And so, and Helen has, again, international guest. I've never gotten to meet her in person, but just I don't know if it's the accent. Is it the British accent? But she has this like a light airiness around her. Like she's like floating. And I could just see her being like a bouncing ball going into Mondays with her complete passion for, positivity and all the great research that she's done to support it.
Yes, it's that she has that built-in DNA of optimism to everything she's doing. And then just, of course, you're going to be buoyant because that's how you're entering the world. Love it.
So as we wrap up our conversation about Mondays, I'm going to go ad hoc on you, Jane. We've got Monye and we've got Luna Day. Put on a t-shirt and send me one, folks. We will see you again for another episode of Spring Shorts. It is always so fun to kind of reflect on all the amazing insights we get from our guests. So I'm so glad you decided to join us. Stay tuned for next week for another amazing episode of Jane and I breaking down No More Mondays. Thanks for listening to this episode of No More Mondays. We hoped you grabbed some great insights to help you improve your professional satisfaction. Please visit us at Apple iTunes and give us a rating so we can continue to offer you awesome interviews and content each week. No More Mondays. New episodes drop every Wednesday. No More Mondays is brought to you by Career Benders, Inc. in partnership with executive producer Jane Durkee. For more information about career coaching, resume writing, personal branding, recruiting, and entrepreneurship coaching services, visit our website at careerbenders.com. That's Career Benders, B as in boy, S as in Sam.com. This is your host, Angie Callen, signing off. Until next week when we chat with another inspired, confident professional.